Hello and welcome to my video about the teacher I strive to be. My name is Faiza Mohammed and I study education at the University of KwaZulu-Natal Edgewood campus. This video will outline my experiences, beliefs, teaching choices, and my learners' experiences. When reflecting on my professional identity, I am becoming a teacher who puts learners first, fosters total inclusion, and continuously grows. These three core values shape my vision for the educator I want to become. My first belief is putting the needs and development of my learners first in all that I do. To me, this means tailoring my teaching to every child's individual growth rather than taking a one size fits all approach. This is crucial because every learner learns differently, and I want my learners to experience a classroom where they feel genuinely supported and prioritized as individuals. My second is ensuring all learners feel welcomed, valued, and empowered to succeed. This means creating an equitable space where every culture, background, and perspective is respected. It matters deeply to me because learning cannot happen without psychological safety. In my classroom, I want learners to experience the confidence to participate, ask questions without fear of judgment, and realize their full potential. Finally, I believe in continuously improving my teaching skills through ongoing learning and feedback. For me, this means remaining self reflective and open to new methods. This is essential because effective teaching requires constant adaptation. Ultimately, I want my learners to experience a dynamic, high quality learning environment led by a teacher who is as committed to learning as they are. During my high school years from grade 8 to grade 12, I had an experience that deeply shaped my perspective on education. My life orientation teacher acted as a true mentor. He regularly shared his own personal experiences, offered meaningful life advice, and guided us through the most crucial years of our lives. As a learner, I found him immensely inspirational. His support made me feel truly seen and supported, which ultimately motivated me to pursue a career in teaching. This experience showed me that teaching extends far beyond delivering subject content. It taught me the importance of empathy, understanding, and holistic mentorship. Today, I firmly believe in creating an inclusive classroom where I accommodate individual needs and make a dedicated effort to understand each of my learners personally. However, I did have a negative experience. This experience occurred during my time studying education at university. My lecturers primarily focused on delivering high level theoretical concepts that often felt disconnected from real world classroom dynamics. As a learner, I felt a gap between what I was learning academically and what is actually relevant or practical in a real classroom setting. It taught me that standard academic theories aren't always directly applicable to real life teaching. Because of this, I believe that as a teacher, I cannot simply rely on rigid theories. I must be adaptable, developing my own practical strategies to effectively teach and manage a live classroom.
I knew I felt like a real teacher when I taught grade 11's history on Nazi Germany. This was an assessment lesson where two tutors evaluated me simultaneously, requiring meticulous preparation and execution. I designed a dynamic learner-centered lesson plan utilizing both a poster and an interactive chart to present the material clearly. To bring historical context to life, I incorporated audio resources to explain the content and organized an immersive role play where three learners acted as Nazi officials searching for Jewish people in the classroom. I facilitated the entire lesson, guiding the active simulation while keeping the historical learning outcome central. The learners responded with great enthusiasm. Many were eager to participate in the role play and actively answered my questions throughout the session. The interactive elements effectively captured and maintained their attention for the entire duration of the class, showing clear understanding of the subject matter. Both tutors commended the execution and flow of the lesson, giving feedback that will stay with me for the rest of my career. The most rewarding part was after class, when learners came up to tell me how much they genuinely enjoyed the lesson. This made such a lasting impression that I still remember the exact day and time, Wednesday, 22nd April 2026. This reveals that I am becoming a teacher who prioritizes active experiential learning over passive listening, ensuring complex historical topics are meaningful and memorable. During my teaching practice, my identity was challenged when I was repeatedly overburdened with relief classes by the educator in charge of the substitution roster. I was asked first thing every morning of my free periods and was frequently pressured to set aside my own teaching practice work and observation time to cover these extra classes. While other students, teachers were available, they were often reluctant to step in. This proportionate workload accumulated to the point where it interfered with my required observations and led to significant emotional strain. Recognizing that the situation had become unsustainable, I took the initiative to address it professionally by reporting the issue directly to the principal. I clearly and firmly presented my case, explaining how the excessive relief load was hindering my professional development and core teaching responsibilities. The principal addressed the matter, and during a subsequent staff meeting, it was announced that student teachers would only be utilized for relief coverage as a last resort. I took this decisive action because I realized that without establishing clear boundaries, the unfair allocation of relief classes would continue unchecked. I needed to advocate for my own growth as a student teacher and ensure that my obligations were safeguarded. This experience demonstrated my resilience, professional self advocacy, and capacity to make firm decisions under pressure. I mainly focused on teaching my history learners, so most of the time I used the teaching approach called source-based gamification. It is an instructional strategy that transforms historical inquiry into an interactive investigation, allowing me to use my English literacy expertise to guide learners through dissecting primary source evidence to solve a central problem or reach a verdict. This matches my belief that content delivery should be non-traditional, creative, and highly engaging for learners rather than passive memorization. I used this approach during history lessons because I felt the mentored teachers' methods were not engaging enough. I presented and explained the content in interactive ways that sparked interest. Learners responded very positively and were much more active and engaged compared to previous traditional lessons. This approach can be adapted in a South African classroom by using accessible, locally relevant primary sources and running low-tech gamified activities, challenges, or evidence-based matching games that do not require expensive technology or heavy resources. Started teaching practice, I firmly believed the workplace environment wouldn't really affect me and that I could focus strictly on classroom teaching and complete my duties without getting caught up in anything else. However, reality turned out quite differently. Once arrived, I found myself overly involved with colleagues to the point where it became overwhelming and I had to step back. Looking back, the difference happened because school workplaces have complex social dynamics. The culture and everyday expectations made it nearly impossible to remain isolated no matter how much you plan to focus on teaching. This was a major learning curve for my teacher identity. It taught me that being an educator isn't just about what happens in front of the learners, it's also about learning to navigate workplace culture and staff relationships effectively. To bring my future practice closer to my initial belief, I will establish clear personal and professional boundaries right from day one. That way, I can stay centered on high quality teaching while still remaining healthy, limited, and professional workplace relationships. Strength I already possess is my ability to design creative and interactive lessons, as well as engaging with learners and getting to know them over and above just curriculum delivery. However, an area where I still need to grow is establishing firm professional boundaries, both learners and teachers, and managing the emotional toll of the workplace dynamics. For my next teaching practice, my specific action will be to set clear boundaries from day one and follow a structured daily time management plan so I can stay focused on my core teaching duties. I want my future learners to experience a classroom where they feel curious, empowered, and excited to participate. Through this journey, I can confidently say that I am becoming a teacher who balances creative pedagogical innovation with strong professional boundaries to create a sustainable, engaging learning environment. Thank you. This was Faiza Mohammed signing out.